Hello, everybody. I hope you're joining us on this micro event for the hackathon, for Cluj Hackathon. So we will just wait for people to join us a couple of minutes. This is the last webinar and micro event before Cluj Hackathon 2025. We're hosting it this weekend. We just announced today that we have a full house, so it's gonna be massively full. Everybody's is on top of us. I see Mark has joined as well. Hello, Mark.
How you doing?
So, how are you doing?
Fantastic.
Great tan, great tan. So, I'm having the screen shares. We're live on Facebook, on LinkedIn, and on YouTube, on our social channels. I would like to introduce Maria Minarikova from Fetch, one of our main sponsors this year, and Mark from Flux. And they are going to explain the setup on how we're going to use agentic technology on their platforms and throughout Cluj Hackathon. And let's go live to understand more about how we can build amazing technology during the weekend and not only. Yeah. But we are looking forward to create some amazing solutions during the hackathon. And Mark, the floor is all yours.
Let me just go first, please, if that's okay. I just wanted to follow up very briefly before Mark kicks with the real stuff. I just wanted to thank you, Adrian, for having us. It's going to be a fantastic weekend. I can't wait. So we were in Cluj a couple months ago, is it now, for the initial kickoff. So I'm Maria Minarikova, Director of BizDev at Fetch. And we have, in the meantime, have done really great advancements also from the Fetch side. So Mark is going to present Flux platform, which is our Fetch. It's one of the Fetch products. It's a low-code, no-code platform. During the first workshop earlier this year, we were talking about, you can code everything and all these, really cool agents and everything, with that, through coding. But now with Flux, you can actually set up things much quicker. Without the coding, with some APIs, you can even advance and have workflows for your agents and so on. So that's what Mark is going to present. I would like to encourage everyone to check out our new website with the updated product portfolio of Fetch.ai. You will find ASI1, which is the LLM, so which we will be using during the hackathon. You'll find links to Agentverse, which is the coding platform or place where you can register your agents, when you code them and register them. And you can also find information about FlogX, and that's what Mark will be presenting today, how you can set up these agents in a quick way. And that's what we're going to be focusing on a lot also during the hackathon. So Mark, thank you so much and for joining us, and the floor is yours.
All right.
Just a couple of notes, Mark, before we start. For some that will join later or for some that will leave earlier, we're going to communicate one more email on Wednesday with the last details. So the participants in the hackathon and the teams, they will have all the information regarding on technology and access and APIs and everything within their hackathon account and when the registration will take place. Don't worry about it. If you registered, you're in. It's going to be full house, probably over 200 participants, and we're going to have an amazing weekend. So please, Mark, the floor is all yours.
Awesome. So I'm going to cover the FlogX platform, which you can access at agents.flogx.io. And I'll actually just pop a little link in here so everyone knows how they can get there. So you can sign into Google, whatever. So it's really easy to set up an account and get up and running. And I will share a screen here of what it looks like once you get into the platform.
There's a present button.
Yep, I got that. Yep. I want you to okay all the things. All right. All right, just gotta run the passwords out of me. Oh, it wants me to quit Chrome and hop back in to share my screen, guys. I'm sorry. I'll be instantly back. It wants me to quit Chrome.
It's interesting. That just never fails, doesn't it? I mean, we can do
Technology,
this
technology
all these
never fails us.
webinars, all these online
Um,
workshops, and there's always something that comes up as a surprise. But in any case, our listeners, viewers, you can also go to Fetch.ai. You will have a link to the Flux platform there as well. Just check it out. There will be lots of other information as well. So use the link that Mark has provided, or go to the Fetch.ai website, and you will find the various products, including FlockX, and the links from there as well, and also to the documentation. So we will provide you then specific, just parts of the documentation specific for the hackathon, but there's a lot more you can already start reviewing before the weekend, and really get familiar with agents, with the Fetch agents, how we build things, and also with the ASI one, the LLM. So we'll be using that, like I said, during the hackathon. So Mark, welcome back, and the floor is really all yours now.
All right, perfect. So we'll get the screen shared now, and we will share our, let's see if you guys see that screen there. Perfect. So this is what you see when you first log into FlockX. It'll pop you into a process of creating agents, actually. I have a few agents created. Just going to go through an example of a group of agents that might help you as a student be more productive. So I have a particular workflow that I go through in order to make things really easy and simple for me. I usually go into something like ChatGPT and say, hey, here's what I'm trying to accomplish. Help me generate some information. And so that's exactly what I did here. As I said, hey, I'm going to do a presentation to this group on FlockX and give me some ideas for what kind of collaborative scenario I might be able to come up with. And I picked one from the mix, which was a student productivity group, a group of agents that would help you as a student be more productive. And it gave me a group of agents to create. And then I just told it exactly what fields I wanted filled out that we have on the FlockX platform. And boom, it starts providing me with information. So I've got Note Ninja, a research rover, a study Sherpa, and a test tactician. And then there's one more I'll walk us through the creation, at the time. So on the FlockX platform, we've got some key items that allow you to have an agent that has some sort of identity and personality that can accomplish a goal and collaborate with other agents. So we start with kind of an agent name, some sort of description that's going to describe what they're capable of and what they are designed to do, a personality, which you can be a lot more creative with this. I was pretty simple. The personality for my test tactician is that they are strategic, encouraging, and adaptive. I've had a lot of success giving them an entire identity. So like a history and jobs they've had, and it's become, we get more definitive and repeatable results. And so I've done this for each one of these characters here. And then what I can do is I can launch a chat for each one of them. So let me go back to agents here, just get one open on each screen or each tab. Who do we got so far? We got our Note Ninja, our research rover, and then let's get open our study Sherpa, and finally our test tactician. So as we're setting up the agents, we also have this idea of knowledge graphs. So we can have, it's basically, if you're familiar with a RAG system, or which is retrieval augmented generation, you can upload some knowledge into a particular agent through a vector store that does semantic search and helps define a better context in order to get better answers from a given LLM. It's all about really giving it identity and giving it some concrete facts to work from. So for each of these agents, I also just did a search on Google, find me some helpful educational PDFs that are relevant to this agent's identity and what it wants to accomplish. And then I uploaded those, and they end up in our knowledge graph. Now, we use something a little different on FlockX for a knowledge graph. So it's not just your standard vector store semantic search. It is what's called a temporal knowledge graph. And behind the scenes, it's using technology called ZEP memory, which is the commercial version of an open source project that they released called Graffiti, Graphiti. So you can run Graffiti on your own. It's a little bit of an involved setup, but this is kind of the enterprise version that allows you to not have to worry about the details of infrastructure and get it up and running quickly. So for my test technician, we've got the guide to exam preparation, tips for exam preparation. Just popped a couple of PDFs in there quickly to make sure that they've got some base knowledge to give some facts on. Then as we go into each one of our individual agents, we've got a little menu here, and we can start a chat with each of these.
Can you please share the screen again? So we have lost the screen sharing.
Oh, I'm sorry. I'm seeing the screen, but you guys are not. Okay, so let's stop it and restart it. Share and window, our agent platform. There we go.
We can't see that. Adrian, can you maybe help? Oh, Adrian says that the power went down in the whole town. He's messaging me.
Oh, that's unfortunate.
That is really unfortunate, and that has never happened. So I wonder, but we don't see him. Do we see him?
I don't see anybody else in here.
There he is. Okay, he's back.
I'm sorry,
Adrian?
the power went down in the whole town. I'll have to. Amazing, how this. Let me just put Mark install again. Wait a second. Go layout, okay. I'm trying to do this on mobile.
Oh no.
We'll figure it out.
He won't be stopped by some power.
No, continue. Yeah. Okay.
So since we have Mark, but since we have Adrian, can you maybe, Mark, try to present, see if that works now?
Yeah, I mean, it shows me that I'm presenting, but it's not like somehow it's not maybe elevated to the screen, which
that's what I'm trying to fix right now.
Gotcha.
Just a second. Default camera. I'm sorry, this has never happened, but still, we're in Romania. Things happen. 1 second, I'm trying to get internet from the phone. Okay, we should be coming again. Okay, we're good.
And I have lots of echo. Here we go. Okay, you're back on, Mark.
Excellent. Well, it was an interesting adventure. It's always an adventurous world. So we roll with the punches. So what I did while we were off there for a second is I went through and I opened up each one of my agents in the chat window, which I just want to show you again how I got there. Navigate to an agent, and where are my agents? Navigate to an agent, and I've got this little 3-dot menu up here, and when I click that, it'll drop me into a chat to test out my agent personally, like as a developer of the agent, and so I can start to get answers. So one of my agents is the Note Ninja. So I went and I said, hey, help me with a note-taking strategy for my next semester. And it consulted the PDFs that I uploaded as knowledge documents to use those as a key in providing factual information. And boom, it gives me a quick, pretty standard answer. But then it gives me some follow-up questions so that I can start to use those to guide this conversation and really test my agent to make sure that my agent is using the knowledge that I uploaded into their knowledge graph. I went and did that with each one of our agents. They'll take a little bit to reply. I just finished that one, but here, so this is the Study Sherpa. Can you help me develop a study plan for my AI agents class? I need a study schedule, and please work with me to schedule. So one of the things I skipped over, actually, which this brings up, is each agent has a set of integrations that you can turn on and off. So my note-taking ninja, I have left on the web search tool, but I have not turned on the calendar functionality, just so we have one or two agents that can schedule things on your calendar. And this is a simple setup. You click on and you're going to go through and it's going to ask you to enable it and authorize Google Calendar for this agent to connect to it. So I'm not going to do this one, but we've got that set up on our Study Sherpa, or one of them is a Study Sherpa of this. Let's get that calendar set up because we want them to be able to schedule a plan for us. It'll just go through the standard OAuth process to trust, edit and share everything on my calendar. And now my Study Sherpa will have access to Google Calendar. So it should be able to put a schedule on the calendar for me. Where'd my Study Sherpa go? There it is. And so we'll say, it's asking me some backup questions. And I'm going to say I prefer some short daily study sessions. So while he's working, we can take a look at our test technician. And this is the process of just going through and creating that chat with my agent. But we'll go back here and we'll start the next interesting thing about, this is the easy part. This is where you get your API keys, you hit create key, give it a name. You'll only see it once. Standard stuff that you've logged in with and set up on any kind of active platform that allows you to have API access plus an interface. But the real key to our platform and what makes everything work is this idea of taking a set of your agents and having them collaborate on a goal. That's kind of the real magic of the entire system. And something that's unique and interesting about FlockX in order to help you get to a goal. So I'm actually going to ask my other agent to give me an objective and select some participating agents. And yeah, so we'll get something there going. So what are we going to do for an objective? It seems like we could use our test taxation and our study habit agent to set a goal of creating a schedule. And so we're going to just fill out our objectives here. Let's see, our objective might be to maximize academic success through effective study planning and exam preparation.
Mark, I think you need to share that specific screen.
Yeah. I'm just filling it in.
Yeah.
And then our participating agents are going to be our Study Sherpa. There's our Study Sherpa. And we're going to also add our test taxation. which we can find other agents out in the wild, but I'm going to restrict it to just the agents that I've created. So we can use agents that we find out there in Agentverse if we find interesting agents to collaborate. All right, then we've got some other items we can set that we want the objective evaluated. So it'll use a higher order LLM to basically run an evaluation on the conversation to see at what point they've achieved the goal, and then to end the collaboration when the goal's been achieved. So we're going to set our collab limit up a little high, so let them have a real conversation. Sometimes the conversations can take a little while, so we have a timeout that we can set as well. And then we can start that collaboration between those agents. And they will be talking, and we can go and see their conversation. So we will see all the ones that I've been creating with the conversations that I've had directly with a research agent or directly with the Note Ninja. Those are the little chats that I popped open. That's my old one. And then the new one will show up here as it starts to have a message history. This lets us review our messages, see how many messages came through, do some troubleshooting. But it does take a little bit for them to get going on the conversation. So here we can observe all the conversations that have happened, even with the other users who are out in the wild in Agentverse who have decided to use our agents, the agents that we developed just now. Other people can use those agents. And so we can actually go through and see all the conversations other people have had and see how our agent's responding, so we can optimize those conversations. So it would be helpful if you have other people talk to the agents that you build. So then you have more of a diverse interaction with your agent that gives you the ability to now optimize the knowledge graph that you're uploading, the personality and et cetera that you put into your agent. The more conversations that you can see other people have had, you'll have unpredictable questions getting asked, and that will allow you to then add to those essentially system prompts that are inside your agent. I go back here and go to an agent. Personality, agent description. These are really system prompts that define the personality of your agent or define how it's going to respond. So in the personality, you can say, hey, like, we don't answer questions about calculus because I don't know anything about calculus. I only know about how to build AI agents. And so those are the only questions that I answer. So this typical kind of prompt engineering that you would see around the world or around in pretty much any application. But these are things that you can modify and optimize over time in order to, get the best possible answers out of your agents and have them be the most effective. So let's see if we've got a few more chats that have shown up. We're not seeing our collab yet because it takes a little bit, but we'll be able to cook through these conversations. Okay, so this was when my other, when I asked that agent about how to prepare for my agent development class. It gave me the top frameworks. So, if 100 students ask this similar question, then I can then optimize my prompts to get the best answers here. And let's pop back into that conversation. That's my note taking, preparing for agents. Then the suggested questions allow you to rip pretty quickly through kind of expanding these conversations that then you have the opportunity to optimize for. And then we can go and more deeply personalize the agent. So we can get an avatar. We can, while we're watching how it answers questions, we can be optimizing the personality and then clicking through, asking additional questions, and seeing that change happen in the agent's kind of responses. So I went through this pretty quick, but this is really the long and short, the guts of what we've got inside FlockX. You can see it's super simple, no code, click, 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 and you're up and running with agents. And in particular, we'll see these collaborations are still working. So we'll have to observe that once it shows up. The collaborations take a little longer to run in the background as these agents are talking to each other and then having the history, their conversations start to show up. But that's a really quick rundown. I don't know if we want to go to questions or if people want to hear more about how the knowledge graphs work. Are we set up to say, put questions in chat, or because I can certainly give a lot more information.
I think let's maybe talk about the knowledge graphs just a little bit more, just to see how they can personalize. Maybe some other use cases, just high level. So we're not able to talk about challenges here just yet before the hackathon, but you can think of setting up your business using these agents and having community basically communicate with you and about your business, what you're building. You can think of having like here we had a group of students, but maybe even within like a frame of say university and different clubs or the local club, and players in being included in a club and sharing information, or people planning, I think like maybe dinner or something, checking against the various calendars and really having these agents sort of simplifying those workflows. So I
did kind of just maybe oversimplify the knowledge graph part in that I just uploaded PDFs. You can actually indicate websites to crawl, and it will crawl those websites. So if you're want to have a LangGraph agent who can coach another agent on how to operate LangGraph, which is a popular framework for building agents, you can put in the LangGraph documentation URL, and it'll start to crawl that website. So let me see if I can't. I'll just show you how that works. So LangGraph docs. And resources docs. Just finding the right link. And I can just pop this in here. And now it doesn't start instantly. It takes a bit because it gets all queued into a history, but you'll see a status here of how, where it's at in the operation. And then you've got some actions that you can call, but it's still being crawled. So I don't get any actions yet. We also have a web search built in behind the scenes. So you can actually, this is my test tactician. So I might say, research the best possible strategy for test taking. Use only modern techniques that include AI helpers. So this will go and create a knowledge report. So it'll create a set of search terms. It'll go through, rotate, loop through those search terms, and then end up creating a research report and sticking that research report into your knowledge graph. Now you can also rerun that research, create a new research project. And because it's a temporal knowledge graph, it will actually update facts that it extracts from your conversations and from your queries. So it's an interesting part about how the memory stack works under the hood for us is it's not just vectorizing what you put in. What it does, it goes through and does a categorization and does a fact extraction, and it extracts those facts in combination with time. So if 2 weeks ago, your research project said Adidas are the best shoes in the world, and then this week your research project says actually now Nike are the best sneakers in the world, it will go back through the knowledge graph and it will make the idea of Adidas being the best sneakers stale and say that that's an old fact, and it will update the fact of what are the best sneakers to Nike. And so that's an interesting piece of the memory stack here that you're not going to find in a normal, everyday, just vectorization with semantic search. And so we've got that's still starting. So Yeah, these all things take a little bit of time. So getting them prepped ahead of time, I mean, they don't take days, but could be 20 minutes, 30 minutes to get a good research project will help out. So then we can also add this context statement of every time that our agent does a search through our knowledge graph, how do we guide it to get the right answers, or how do we, this is basically like a prompt for the query to the knowledge graph. And so it's just more prompt engineering, but it provides you with some additional tools to tune the agent's response. And this part is just 100% focused on the knowledge graph itself and how it's extracting information from the knowledge graph. So you can tell it, hey, I want you to really focus on only the helpful tutorials or pieces like that. And that will help define how it's pulling the knowledge. It's just like how you might optimize a SQL query to a database. You're optimizing an agent's query to its own knowledge graph in order to give it some additional form that will deliver higher level abilities for your agent. Because the key is to be able to tune your agent for your domain and what you're trying to accomplish. And then you can actually enter a prompt here to query your knowledge graph and see what's coming back directly from the knowledge graph. Because as you have this chain of agent asking for knowledge from a knowledge graph and then adding its personality and responding, there's these points of connection where you need to optimize the response, and it can get complicated. So you want to be able to just query your knowledge graph and see what answers it's getting that are then being provided to the agent, that the agent's going to add personality and the other ways you tuned with prompt engineering your agent. So it's a chain of events, and this allows you to optimize those to get the best possible result.
May I just add, and maybe you can explain. So you are, as an agent, you can have multiple knowledge graphs, and you can turn them on or turn them off, right? So maybe if you can just explain a little bit how that works.
Yeah, well, you really end up with a knowledge graph per agent, but the way it boils down to is different documents that you've stuffed in there, and you can add and eliminate those documents or those research. So like here, I now have actions because I upload these documents. I can go see the document, review it. For websites, my actions are going to be focused on, oh, it's still being crawled, so it doesn't like that one. Look like my research failed, so we'll have to go check out what happened there. But let's see if maybe I'm just reload the page and see what it's got. It did cover that one. Now it still thinks it's being crawled. So some of these things just take a little longer. They don't update quite as fast as you'd hope. But yeah, we can go through and eliminate these documents, add new documents that will change the way our agent operates as well. And I just wanted to give a quick query to my agent, or to my actual graph. So this is a extremely simplified query. And then I can see what actually I get from what has been submitted to my knowledge graph through those documents and through the extraction of those documents.
Here is a question that came from a person attending. The knowledge graph data document are some protected from external access. If I have some sensitive data, where is it stored, processed? Is it safe for my business or myself as an individual? So
so our knowledge graphs are all multi-tenant, which means they are isolated completely from other knowledge graphs. So you do have the ability to say, I want my agent to be public and be able to talk to other agents, or say my agent is not public. It only talks to my agents or only talks to me. And that's really how you manage the exposure. But the actual data in the knowledge graph is completely isolated by agent and by user account. So that's by design in the system. It's kind of a key kind of idea and policy among Fetch and FlockX is that, privacy first. And so that's a part of the platform. And then I see Darius asking, is it possible to use with a local hosted LLM? Yeah, we're not covering it today, but we can create our own agents and simply register them on FlockX, which puts them based on Agentverse as well. And then you can set up your agent however you want. Your agent can be running, hosted in Google. It can be running local. then you aren't using the same tools that we make available for you with FlockX, but you can collaborate with other agents that you created on FlockX. So yeah, we can build your agent in any way that you want and then register it, and it now becomes available to the network of agents.
Yeah, I for those questions, I do recommend going to Fetch.ai, and there's docs. Maybe you can show that just very quickly on the page. So if you start a new tab, and just go to the top of the Fetch.ai, and there it is on the top. You have the docs all the way on the top, docs, events, blogs. So docs. So go there, and you'll find various parts. So this is the LLM, Fetch LLM ASI1. There are API keys. We'll be providing those. You can find the information there, but we will just extract that so you can have that available already. For the hackathons, there will be like a summary of various links to APIs. So that's one of them. If you go below that, then there's more information on Agentverse. So how to build agents, integrate them with Agentverse, so then they could be interacted with. There you go. Yes, Fetch.ai docs. And below that is, again, also docs for FlockX. So we do encourage people to really look into that. UAgents is that's the SDK for Fetch native micro agent network. Framework. So look into that as well. Feel free. However, if you are familiar working with, I don't know, LangChain, Cluj AI, you can still build those agents, and then you can come and register them on the Agentverse, and then you can communicate with those agents, as Mark was just showing. They become part of the large, big ecosystem, and that's the whole point of that. People will be able to create their own agents or agents for their companies, communities, and so on, and we'll be able to collaborate together, communicate, and also later on negotiate prices and so on as well. The agents can also represent and be connected to IoT devices if that's of an interest. Bring that data into your agent and then make that data available in different ways. So that's also possible.
Yeah, and there's a variety of document types that you can upload. Like, it's pretty large, large enough that we didn't even put the list in here, because you can pretty much throw everything in there, whether it's Excel documents or whatever. So you can put pretty much any kind of knowledge into your knowledge graph, and it will go through, extract key facts, and provide answers.
Awesome. And we will be providing support also on the weekend. So we are bringing a technical person with us, but we will have also online support for people during the event. So Adrian, I don't know, are there any other questions? If anybody has questions now, this would be a really good time to ask those.
Please, guys, ask some questions. Everything related. We're happy to help.
And we did have our agents start to communicate here. So they take a little while to get going, but then they'll start talking back and forth to each other. So those ones take a little long to go. They get queued up into a large compute cluster. So you have to kind of wait to see the results, but it ends up being pretty interesting. And that's kind of what you get out of the system over the long term, is that collaboration system. And then the ability to review them afterwards.
So any other questions from the audience, please? I think what would be really interesting is really if you guys can just start testing the system, start playing with it, really look at the various documents, check it out, think about your own use case where this can be helpful, and just start playing with the platform. If you're more technical, go and try to build an agent. There are different templates, different really documentations for agents, how you can get started. Simple weather agent, travel agent. You can talk about travel and weather in Cluj and travel and start discussions about various, good clubs or places to eat. Can the agent speak any language? That's a good question, I guess, since it's in Romania.
So we've been focused on English. We haven't done a lot of multi-language testing, but we're using the top LLMs behind the scenes. So let's test it.
Let's test
Emergent
it. But
functionality.
I assume that English would be preferred definitely for the hackathon. But yeah, try it out. I think, you never know these days. I think, technology is advancing so fast. I was recently
worst case scenario, you use
Sorry?
the LLM. Worst case scenario, you use the LLM, you translate it, and then you use it, the English language.
Translate, yeah, no, absolutely.
Yeah. In the agent burst.
I wonder if there's, I don't know. Check it out and let us know. All right. If there aren't any other questions, I think we can maybe close the session and really keep it, shorter and really just let people then go and play with the system and try it out.
So just a couple of notes for the participants in the hackathon. You will receive an email Wednesday or latest Thursday morning with all the technical related things. We usually call the email last email before the hackathon. And you will find also on social media, we'll be posting the coming days, all the information you will need to participate, how to get there. The schedule is on the website. A few presentations from our sponsors, documents, API, documentation, everything related, so that you have all the tools to excel at the hackathon. And it's gonna be a fast hackathon. I remember the old days when the hackathons were overnight. This one is gonna be, we call it a luxury hackathon, because we have so many cool technologies and it works really fast. You can deploy a lot of things on the fly. No need to hard code stuff like it used to be. All this technology makes things work really fast. And on top of that, we would encourage you to start thinking on business cases, because with the tech that we're going to provide you over the hackathon, it's really possible to start a company or to start an MVP on Monday. And we will also have some investors and accelerators who will be able to pitch there. Keep a notice on our social media platforms, and for those who registered in the hackathons, I will be contacting you and my team will be contacting you personally in the upcoming days. Please, one big please, for those who haven't filled in their profile details on the platform, please log in and finish your profile details so that we can contact you on the phone. That's about it on our side. Thank you so much, Maria. Thank you so much, Mark. Looking forward to having you with us in Cluj. And also, please bring some sunshine. It's been raining for a week.
Awesome.
Looking forward to that. Awesome. Yeah, we'll do.
Thank you so much, guys.
Thank you, guys. Thank you, Mark. Thanks.
Bye.